It is the Sports Lounge. It is number 247. Marcus Traxler is here. Travis Krins is here. It is, April 8th? It has snowed. A lot of people don't like the cold and the snow, and that has to do with the baseball. Has this been an abnormally poor start to the spring?
I would say locally, yeah, I would agree with that. It's been rough. We've had like cold days, or maybe you'd have a day where it snowed, but it just doesn't seem to be going away. At least the cold weather, and that means the snow sticks around a little bit longer. Today, I would say we got maybe a couple inches again. I'm sure that'll go away again. So
supposed to be like 55 on Wednesday, 50 on Tuesday. So this shit will be gone by Tuesday.
It was like the other day, though. I think I was maybe it was Friday. I was going to meet you actually, and I was just walking to my car, and the wind's blowing. And it's probably like 30, and I'm just like, I'm done. I'm ready to be done with this. This is getting old. So, from that standpoint, yeah, I'm getting tired of the cold weather, and the wind will always be there, but we need the temps to go up a little bit.
Charlie Hildebrand joins the program. I seem just to remember more times than not, Charlie's softball games at SDSU were very windy and cold, even if it was like May 20th. It felt like it was 35 degrees with a 20-mile-an-hour wind. Is that how you remember it?
Yeah, all the way up through when school was done, they were still constantly canceling games or postponing them, whether it was snowing or just cold or just rainy. Like, I remember there was some day where, like, I had to go out to the baseball field as, what was the assistant AD guy's name? Rob? I don't even remember his last name.
Pearson?
He was like on the baseball field helping, and the baseball team like scooping water off the field. And they were like, well, we might play later today. And it's like, you guys clearly aren't going to play today. This is soaked with water. But yeah, no, let's just stand around here in our dress clothes for another 2 hours wondering if we're going to play today.
I remember at STSU, like maybe like 3 games at the most of baseball where like the sun was out and it felt good. And yeah, every other time I remember going to a game, it was windy or it was cold or it was at least cloudy and just lousy. But like very few instances of the sun being out, feeling the sun on your face and being like, this is a nice day, because it just doesn't happen very often, at least in the spring in this state.
And also to add to that, I don't know if you guys ever had this with baseball, but the guy who did the play-by-play for baseball, who would always bring those sunflower seeds, there was some day I had enough of them and kept doing it on the same cheek that like I had to stop because I like was rubbing away my cheek with all the sunflower seeds and the salt and stuff.
You got too many sunflower seeds. There may have been.
This was like when it was like there was a baseball game, like a doubleheader, and then 2 days later there was a doubleheader, and then the next day there was like the final of a series. So you take like 5 games over, 4 or 5 days, and it was just like, I don't think I've had any sunflowers since then, actually.
Is that right?
I don't think so.
They're still a go-to for me. They're a habit like through the winter this year. Like I kept doing
You didn't even stop.
I didn't even stop. So but I try to how would I say this? Try to divvy it out so that they're not withering away the insides of my mouth.
It's probably a good idea. Maybe Sakin will probably join us at some point here. I haven't got my usual text here, and we haven't had our Wednesday night church check-in yet. He seems very. If you read the blog, which all of us do every day,
I don't.
I have never in my life seen Stacken as upset, and the words that he used to describe what Conor McGregor did earlier this week at the Barclays Center, throwing the dolly through the bus window and causing havoc with his crew of 12 guys, and 4 fights got canceled or changed at the UFC pay-per-view last night. LeVar Ball is still it was his number 1, and he hates Stan Kroenke for moving the Rams to LA and all this other stuff. So those are gentlemen that we know he despises. We know he doesn't like Leonardo DiCaprio or any other successful gentleman. Charlie, do you think what Conor McGregor did was that enough to jump the Ball family in the hatred of Mr. Stacken?
I mean, I wouldn't think so, but I mean, it's tough to gauge how upset Stacken gets by things. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying what he did was appropriate, but when you get guys who are like tough guys, like they're going to do stuff like that. And I think as long as you're not like assaulting, I don't know, did he assault anybody? Like actually,
he didn't touch anybody, but he threw like a dolly or a thing that you would put something heavy on to wheel somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, like I get that it's problematic and dangerous.
And he injured other fighters to the point.
Okay, well, if he injured guys, that's different then. So like, it's still bad, and I'm okay. Like if he gets suspended or anything like that, any repercussions, but. I don't know. It's kind of like with the business you're dealing in, you're going to have certain things that other businesses may not have to deal with. And I think just with UFC stuff, I don't know if there'll be anything that extreme anytime soon, but that's just stuff you're going to have to deal with. So, like, while I'm not condoning it, like, I wouldn't be like, oh, man, like this guy, but now I can't stand him because of this. I don't know how it registers on the Stacken meter. The Stacken meter.
I think it's a fucking 10. For Stacken, it's like a 10.
With the words he was using, I didn't read the blog, but Crins did. He said that he was
called him a piece of shit and all that. Yeah. I mean, Stacken likes to hold back and say, I don't want to offend anybody. He did not do any of that there.
He offended the Conor McGregor people.
I hate him, all this.
Yeah, I would agree. Based on what you've said, I'm still not going to read.
Well, I should just read it right now.
But he said, this would be a 10. I would imagine that this probably is right up there with LeVar Ball. So that's how serious it is, I guess. And I agree with what Charlie said. This is the trade. I mean, fighting is right in the name of the league, Ultimate Fighting Championship. So we should not be surprised that people are doing stuff like this. I would also say that I mean, the UFC is all about having people coming through and, raising a ruckus at press conferences. And I believe he did that earlier in the day as well as people were there, right? So,
he shows up late to everything. So the press conference was done. Then that's when he shows up.
He showed up. You're right. So this was something he was fighting. So I'm used to get too much outrage. I feel bad for the guys who got hurt because
got cut with the glass.
Getting a shard of glass in the eye, that's not real cool. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, when you do stuff like this, you condone stuff like this, and Dana White has before, and then now he wants to put the foot down and say this is the worst thing that's ever happened. I'm not really going to buy the sanctimonious. So
this maybe isn't a perfect comparison, and it's probably not the comparison Dana White would want to what he does. But to me, this is like the equivalent of like when a heel in wrestling like steals somebody's crutches and just like throws them away. And they're just like, I can't believe you did that. And it's like, well, I mean, I think this is sort of like at least to an extent staged. Now, maybe nobody besides McGregor knew he was going to do this, but I think he, to an extent, knew what he was doing and trying to bring attention on himself.
You may remember this. This was 2002. The NWO debuted in WWE. Hulk Hogan, what did he do? He ran a semi. Hulk Hogan got behind a semi. He put The Rock in an ambulance, and he drove the semi into the ambulance. It looked pretty cool. Worse than driving the semi into the ambulance with The Rock inside. Who was fine 2 weeks later. So.
I think McGregor's is probably worse than that.
Okay.
I don't know. You start talking about Stone Cold dumping cement into McMahon's car or whatever it was. I mean, that's destruction of property.
It is very.
Like Crins said, I mean, UFC had their reality show cameras documenting this.
They got some pretty good shots of it. They even had shots inside the inside, whether the cameras were there
in the bus,
inside, or people's personal phones taping this. So this was interesting, very interesting. Staged or not?
Crins was. I don't remember. Was it you that mentioned this, or maybe you just like retweeted someone on Twitter saying this, or maybe it was someone completely different. I don't know. But it was like you know, the UFC saying how bad what McGregor did was.
Yeah, and they put on their website.
On the front page of their website, they're like, "Oh man, check this out."
Yeah, that's where I kind of like, you don't. I don't think you do that if this was, you know, you don't do that if this, you know, was as terrible as it was, and it canceled or changed 3 or 4 fights, and it affected the main event, and you know, I don't think he's going to go to jail. Probably he'll lose quite a bit of money, but jail time, I don't think so for a guy like him. There's a warning on Stacken's blog, some strong language contained in today's blog. So we'll be prepared for that. However many lawsuits.
Well, I mean, you don't see a lot of that on the internet. You don't see a lot of strong language.
You know, it's usually within the confines of PG.
So that's important that he had that.
However many lawsuits he gets slapped with won't be enough for this waste of time. It's such a waste of time, he decided to write a couple hundred words on them.
Absolutely.
He says, I can't believe I'm writing about UFC, but when stuff like this happens, it's impossible not to mention. There's no holding back on this one, so you're ready for this. I've never liked Conor McGregor. I find him to be an abrasive, arrogant asshole. I don't find him entertaining. I find him to be a foul human being. I don't give 2 shits that he's a great fighter. The shits, you got little shits is not spelled out. We have what?
Oh, come on.
Asterisks.
Jesus.
We have asterisks with shit, so we don't know that. Guy's not a role model.
To be fair, could he have been saying shots? I don't give 2 shots.
You don't give 2 shots about this man. He questions maybe he was on drugs. He's hoping that's the case. Let's see. We'll fast forward to the end here. Sue the pants off him, make him pay for his crime, discard him into the gutter somewhere, or send him back to Ireland, where we will never have to hear from this POS ever again.
Wait, is Stacken talking to Portion? Is Stacken switching political beliefs?
Yes. Send him back. Lock him up. There's no defending what McGregor did. Get the hell out of here, McGregor. You're the worst of the worst of the worst. Some strong words indeed. From
Stacken said it was a waste of time. Which was a bigger waste of time? What McGregor did there or McGregor's fight against Mayweather?
I will say if Stacken got paid $100 million for the blog, it'd be close. But I would say Stacken's deal, or not the fight in which he made a lot of money. So there is that.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a waste of time for McGregor. I think you make the case that was a waste of time for everyone else.
Bro, we watch it. What first 3-4 rounds were pretty competitive. McGregor probably won the first 3, which is probably how it was planned out, and then you go from there. In 9th, 10th round, you take a dive and say, all right, we fought for a half hour. We're good to go. Anyways, the tradition, unlike any other, as long as you're not a black man, the Masters, or a woman. If you're a white guy, it's fine. The Masters is going on, much ballyhooed about, hyped as the most anticipated ever. And not great. I'm sure the golf folks like it. You got Patrick Reed, who I have zero interest for me. McIlroy's there.
That's too bad.
Anybody else? It's going to be a stretch. So it's basically a 2-man race. Who do you like to win this thing?
I like Patrick Reed. He's got the 3-shot advantage at this point. Rory McIlroy in contention. I would also say, unless I could see Reed coming back to the pack a little bit here. He's made, so much progress on the par 5s. I think he's basically been 5 or 6 strokes better than pretty much everybody else the average in the field on those holes this weekend. Bubba Watson putting right now as I'm watching this TV, 2-time champ, hard in a left-hander. That helps at Augusta. I would like to see Ricky Fowler because he has the orange pants on today. I'd like to see the green jacket and the orange pants and the contrast there. But it appears to be a 2-man race, and it would be hard to the way Reed's been playing this weekend, pretty solid. Tough to argue with too much of that, but a lot of great names here in this amount of coverage here as the round wraps up. So I like that a lot.
Tiger Woods a disappoint?
I think too much was put on Tiger Woods. I think the expectation that he would compete for the championship this weekend, I think was too much to ask. I think, provided he plays in every major, that's a big caveat with him this year. I think he'll compete in at least one of those. I would maybe say the British Open, maybe, but and I believe it's at Shinnecock this year. I'm not totally sure on Tiger's history in the U.S. Open there, but I would say that it was probably too much too soon to expect him to be literally the favorite as he was the betting favorite this weekend. I would say if we're going to talk about being disappointed, I'd certainly be more disappointed in the way Mickelson played, considering he's a 3-time champ, but he seems to be one of those guys who is either completely on or completely off when he's at Augusta, and he was off this week. So
Tiger at +3, Phil at +2. Looks like Mr. Mickelson 5 under on the day.
He's played a lot. He's played really good today, and maybe that's one of the hints of that. There's scores to be had. You would need Reed to probably play around par, and you need some of those guys at 9 under to really fire at 66, 67 to get up into that spot. I think that score, depending on how guys play, could be around where Reed's at. So that would be interesting if somebody could get hot. I like Fowler to maybe be that guy, but we'll see if that.
Yeah, 3 guys yesterday shoot 65. Yeah, Tommy Fleetwood with the 66 and Patrick Reed with the 67. So those were good scores. If Patrick Reed again shoots a 67 again, I mean,
it's over. Yeah,
he's winning the deal.
Yeah.
So he's done well these past couple of days. Masters coverage looks like it's.
I would just like to say, you said that you don't like or you don't care about Patrick Reed. I mean, he is one of these guys who's pretty divisive. Some people.
I don't have an opinion of him either way. And
I'm just pointing out that
player, and I don't care what's the deal with him? People don't like him.
Yeah, there's people. I mean, he's kind of arrogant. He puts it out there. He's got some quotes that are interesting, and I like him. I think he's enigmatic. I like watching him. Obviously, endeared me with the 2016 Ryder Cup effort against Rory McIlroy. So I'm on board. But I think I'll be fine if Rory wins too. I mean, completes a career Grand Slam as well. So. I don't think we can really lose a lot of the. I don't really want to see Bubba Watson win again, but other than that, any of these guys would be fine with me. So,
just do anything for you, Charlie. Patrick Reed. I mean, McIlroy's there, so he's somebody. I haven't watched. I don't plan on watching much today, but
I know with Reed, I'm kind of like you. I'm kind of indifferent on him.
I don't know enough about.
I think it is interesting with McIlroy and Fowler being in contention. I mean, certainly, I think McIlroy could do something. I think for anybody else, obviously, you would need Reed to kind of fall apart at least to some degree. But I mean, I don't know. I'm always interested in the Masters on Sunday, not the first 3 days, but come Sunday, especially the back 9, my interest picks up quite a bit. Unless Reed's running away from the pack. If he's up. By 6 shots with 5 holes left, then I won't care as much then. But
Webb Simpson eagled back-to-back holes, 8 and 9, or no, 7 and 8.
Webb,
awfully impressive. Webb Simpson 5 under through 12. So
I'm surprised Webb Simpson qualified for the Masters. To be honest,
he's making a charge at the top 10.
On the other end of the spectrum, Sergio Garcia had a +8 on 1 hole.
I love it.
And it's something my dad said to me, I think maybe even when we were golfing once when I was a little kid, when you're writing down an 8 over par or a snowman on 1 hole, that means things didn't go right.
Lots of water time, it appears, for him. And
as you well know, I like last years are still playing in this tournament. Bernhard Langer, he made the cut. And if anybody who follows golf, he's good. Like he's probably really shouldn't even really be on the senior tour because he just kills it there. But one of my favorite guys to beat up on every year is Sandy Lyle. Damn near made the cut. He missed. Probably shouldn't be out there anymore, and they're giving it a go. So that's one of my favorite things to do.
Tom Watson won the par 3.
Gotta love it. Another guy who's old. I mean, he's probably 65.
He's very good.
He's probably good enough. He's good enough to play with these pros.
Charlie.
Yes.
Does it still keep you up at night? Stuart Sink, British Open.
It doesn't keep me up at night, but I literally had a conversation about that British Open like 2 days ago with a guy at work who loves golf way more than I do.
That would have been
and he remembered far more about it than I did. He was like, yeah, and then he took this shot and it didn't work out and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, man. I mean, like, I remember it, but you remember it more so than I do.
That would have been unbelievable. That would have been amazing.
He claimed if Watson would have won that major, it would have been the greatest story in the history of sports.
No, it would have been great.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but it would have been a pretty great story.
It would have been awesome. It would have been awesome. Where'd Bernd Wiesberger? He fell off the pace here. Bernd Wiesberger.
I would say greatest story in the
greatest story in the what?
I'd say greatest story in golf. I mean, I wouldn't say in all sports.
It's up there, yeah, with Nicholson in '86 and Woods with the ACL. You want to put that up there, or
Nicklaus?
Yeah, in '80s. Yeah, that's about it.
Remember Jack Nicholson winning the Masters in 1986?
He did. He finished 6th.
Greg Norman never won the Masters, but the shark Jack Nicholson, he found a way to win that one in the 80s. Fresh off being the Joker in Batman in 1989.
The paint on his face yet. What is 53 degrees today? Not very warm out for the golf.
Oh, but it looks beautiful, man. Looks beautiful.
Doesn't appear to be
all the nature they killed to keep them away from the course. It's great.
Yeah, what do they do? How do they do that?
I don't know. I've been told that yeah. I mean, they just
no squirrels, no birds.
I mean, there's nothing. I mean, you hear some birds, but they definitely sound like they're a ways away. So that's. I feel like they got to be using some paint too to keep the course this green. I don't know, but
Mr. Stacken,
hi.
Where are you from today?
Live from Fargo.
Terrific. In your house?
In the downstairs basement, yeah. We're restarting the computer here. This is a fucking ridiculous. Let me tell you, computers suck.
You mean F-dashing ridiculous?
You know what?
Right?
You know what? I think we're in store for a feisty Stacken today, and as we know, a feisty Stacken makes for a good show.
You better believe it.
He's pissed off. Masters, I don't care about it. What do you think? Fiji Apple, let's go.
Cherry limeade here.
Oh, very good.
That's good. That's good.
It's disappointing that, I mean, Spieth is in it, at least that's good, but he's 7 off the lead. It's disappointing that Mickelson and Woods
shit the bed.
Rory McIlroy.
Well, no, Rory's good. It just so I wish Rory and Jordan were 1 and 2. Then I'd be extremely excited for it. Patrick Reed does nothing for me.
It just hinges. This all hinges on Patrick Reed. I don't know about him. I don't care about him. Charlie, same boat.
If I told you that Patrick Reed, I just found this out like an hour ago, apparently has some weird, strained relationship with his family, kind of like Aaron Rodgers.
Nice.
Does that change your opinion at all?
I'm liking this guy more. Weird quotes. Yeah, kind of a bastard. I'm liking him.
I when I was at the U.S. Open with David, we walked near his wife for a few holes. She's pretty decent.
I saw his wife. Yeah, that's good for him.
Yeah, I mean, so I'll watch it, but it's not what I was hoping it would turn out to be.
I mean, when you've got Tampa and Boston for the 6th time this week, it's hard to really not watch it.
Right.
It's another bullpen day for the Rays. So,
question on Phil Mickelson, because I know a lot of people were talking about Mickelson doing something. He's like 47 or 48 now.
I think he's done.
Like, I think we're reaching the point where like he can still obviously be good at golf, but I don't know if we should be like, yep, Mickelson's, because I mean he's almost 50. which is not to say that it's impossible that he could win in the future, but I mean, it's, with each passing day, I think it's less likely when there's guys 20 years younger than you're competing with.
Yeah,
he's still capable of winning. He's won, I believe, this year already. But my thing with the majors is that it's such a snapshot in time that it's hard to really guarantee that you're going to win one, going forward. So
even more so than the Waste Management Open, even more so.
Even more so, yeah.
Or the John Deere Classic, one of the two.
Well, the John Deere Classic.
Houston Open.
I really, in my opinion, the 5th major, the John Deere Classic. So.
I like the one in Dubai.
Lots of money there.
I always forget what it's called, though.
The Dubai $10 million challenge or something.
I think it's the Dubai Classic.
Dubai Jet.
Bringing the big boys. Stacking, we started the program with something that's near and dear to your heart. Conor McGregor, what's should he be shot or hanged?
Lethal injection? Drawn and quartered?
Whatever he gets. Oh yeah, do it like a Braveheart type of deal there. That would be excellent. I don't think anything that he gets is good enough for him. This guy is a complete waste of human life.
What sets you off?
He's trash. What?
We all agree this is not good. But you're very sometimes you hold back. You did not hold back this time. Nope. What was it about this gentleman? The big question is, has he surpassed the Ball family? Has he surpassed the Ball family?
No, that's the real question right here. I think LeVar still holds a mile.
Wow, what did this man do? What did this guy do?
Okay, so the difference between LeVar Ball and Conor McGregor is that the media keeps seeking LeVar Ball, and he keeps saying stupid shit. Conor McGregor is just an asshole. And I mean, what he did, I thought it was maybe orchestrated a little bit.
I'm thinking it might be.
That the truth that what was going on was being exaggerated a little bit. Look at Tiger. What a plot.
Everybody, they love it. They love it. He's 15 shots back, but boy, do they love it.
So I like what he did Thursday was insane. It was hideous. I didn't see the video of it, so I'm reading this story on ESPN.com.
You see it?
I did see the video of it. So I'm at work. I'm on ESPN. I read the story. I'm like, okay, he crashed media day. No big deal. Like, they're not saying anything about a bus or anything like that. And then my buddy messages me and says, hey, are you going to talk about UFC in the blog tomorrow? I said, probably not. Maybe a little something about him, but nothing much. He's like, well, this shit's pretty real. And then, so I finally see the video. I'm like, okay, this guy is just an absolute asswipe of a person. I hope he gets as many lawsuits. I hope he gets as many charges thrown about him. Just like I want to export Justin Bieber back to Canada, let's export Conor McGregor back to Ireland where he can, waste away in a gutter and die. Like, this guy, I've never liked him. I find him arrogant, brash, and
similar to Patrick Reed.
Wow.
He's a corrosive individual, and I have I don't want to make the time of the day for him. I don't like the UFC, and fights like people like Conor McGregor make me like it even less. So to hell with him. And I just I don't. So I mean, he's rivaling LeVar Ball here, but I don't know if I could quite put him up.
I mean, based on the amount of vitriol that Stacken had earlier this week for it, I thought for sure it would be 1 and 1A because you don't very often see the dashes broken out in the blog for the swear words. So I thought, and I mean, it's still up there, no doubt, but I thought it would be a 1 and 1A situation.
What's the worst thing that LeVar Ball has done?
Talk. I mean, speak. He's just an asshole. I mean, so is Conor McGregor. I don't know. Like, I guess you expect this from Conor. I mean, he's a fighter after all. So I don't know. It's very close. It's like as close as you can get. We're down to like the thousandths of a point here between first and second.
Just so Stacken's aware of my point, and you brought it up. Fighting is right in the name of the goddamn league. To me, this is just kind of like par for the course. I realize, he says, I mean, it's without a doubt, it's bad. I mean, people got hurt. That's the thing I'm upset about. And
that's why I thought it was staged, or like they were exaggerating it a little bit, or maybe playing it out just a little bit more. But and then you see the
you guys just
footage and
Bubba Watson just putted it into the bunker.
That's great.
Sorry. I think in my opinion, I think these guys fight. They fight in the ring. They fight outside the ring. When we have the stupid fights at press conferences, nobody bats an eye. I just think I'm kind of on the page of everybody else. I feel like there's certainly elements of it that are staged. To me, I didn't feel like I obviously didn't want people to get hurt to the degree that they did, but it is interesting that this has been the one that's really caught Firestorm.
Stacking,
quit watching porn while we're doing podcasting.
Sorry.
The old Reifenrath coming in here.
What the hell is this?
What do you expect any jail time, Stacking?
I hope so, but I'm not. I'm not holding my breath for it. I assume that they will figure something out. They'll get some charges reduced. But I think his UFC career is nearly done. I really think that he's on a career suicide right here. At least
ultimately, is this a positive for him, because he hasn't fought in the UFC for well over a year. It's going to be at least another year or two before he may never fight again because he doesn't need to. But if he does, I mean, his next fight is just going to be bigger. There's more interest just because of this.
I mean, publicity is still publicity, no matter if it's bad or good. So, I mean, his name's still out there, but I can't see anyone taking him on, not for a little while. Anyway, I don't know. I guess I don't know for sure on that.
Switching now. NBA final week is upon us. Still very much in question whether the Minnesota team will make the playoffs.
They needed help from 3 teams yesterday and got help from none of them.
None of the teams.
That's the Minnesota way to do it, really.
No, that's very true.
Well, I mean, if you want to break down Minnesota nice, it's like, oh, should we ask for help? Oh no, we don't want to bother them at all.
We take pity on the shitty teams like the Hawks and the Grizzlies and the Nets.
Marcus wants to fire the coach.
Yep.
Why do you want to fire the coach?
I just feel I'm just mad at so many things that he does. But the main thing is that we had talked about how young the team was, and then he comes in this offseason and he just makes the team old. He brings in Crawford. He brings in Butler. I mean, obviously Butler, he's the guy you want to have, but he brings in Taj Gibson, brings in Teague. Gibson's been good, but it's just it's frustrating that Wiggins has not taken a step forward this season, in my opinion.
Because he got paid.
Well, he did get paid, but I think and maybe Jimmy Butler, when he gets a chance, will be able to drive that into him.
Hold on, I'm gonna leave this here.
Like Jimmy Butler's the best guy. They're the best.
Whoa.
Now we got a bit of a 2-stacking setup here.
Yeah, we do.
2 stackings, 1 lounge.
There we go.
Hello. Right.
Yeah, there. Hooray! Technology. Yeah.
You've got a wild blanket in the background.
You've got Tibbs. His whole thing is that he's all about defense, and their defense is worse than it's ever been.
Is that on the players?
I think certainly there's some of obviously the players are the guys that need to be out there. Oh man, what a start for Rory here! Just going way right, Jesus. So, that's a problem. And I don't know. It just seems like in so many ways they just have not taken. They're going to finish with probably 15 more wins than they had last year.
Yes, it was a massive, massive jump.
Yeah,
but that's
expectations too. I mean, they were in that mix for a 3 or a 4 seed. Butler gets hurt, so
think about the games they pissed away this year.
I mean, they've done plenty of that.
The Hawks, the Nets, the Grizzlies.
Sure, that's bad. But were expectations too high?
I'd say they were.
I'd say be a 50-win team. I mean, that's a hell of a jump.
Yeah, I'd say 50 wins probably was too much. And, at the end of the day, they're going to finish probably where they should be. But the way they've gotten there is frustrating. And
this has been I would say this is a down year for the Western Conference because a lot of times, 47, 48 wins, that's around an 8 seed, and that's where they're at right now.
Yeah.
So they're very fortunate that they can still maybe get like the 4 or the 5. Considering everything here, there's going to be maybe 2 teams all in the entire conference win more than 50 games, which is.
I'll just say this: I'll be upset if this ends and you've got New Orleans as the 5 seed right now, San Antonio as the 6, and they're ahead of the Wolves. I just think the way this season's unfolded, the Wolves should be ahead of those teams, and they're not going to be probably. And the disappointment. They're going to play Houston. Houston is literally the worst possible matchup for them right now. They've not played well against them at all, and it'll probably be a 4-game series, and they're not going to win it. So, which is fine. I don't expect them to win it, but man, that's going to be some disheartening basketball.
I blame this all on the players, or at least 90% of it, because they don't play defense. Tibbs is a defensive-minded coach, and it's like these guys just for whatever reason aren't receptive to coaching. It reminds me of something that I saw. I think Mike Tice, when he was done, he retired as offensive line coach of the Raiders, and he said he retired in part because guys don't want to be coached. And I don't know if that's this whole millennial type deal, and I don't think it speaks to everyone because I do believe that there are a lot of people out there who want to be coached, who want to become better players and want to be, part of a winning team. But if you get a lot of these young guys, for whatever reason, they aren't listening to Tibbs's message. So I do like the addition of, I thought getting Crawford was great in the offseason. I know he's old, but he was that 3-point shooter. The Timberwolves were terrible shooting 3-pointers.
Well, they're still bad. They're still not good at that.
No. That's true. So I agree. You want to get a little younger. Shabazz Muhammad is doing very good in Milwaukee. That was probably not a great thing. But
he was passed up by 3 coaches. Because it was Flip that played him, or Flip that drafted him. He didn't play much for Flip. Didn't play much for Sam Mitchell. Didn't play much for Tibbs. I get that. That's one of those situations where you might as well let him do his thing. I'm also frustrated with the bench. I realize that we know that Tibbs is going to play 40 minutes. He starters for 40 minutes, but you got to let some of these guys play and a little bit longer. And there's no sense in just driving the same 6 guys in the ground. That drives me insane.
And I agree. I agree.
I understand that you get Tibbs and he's not going to change his way, but he's got to be a little bit more flexible. I'm not gonna be okay with exactly everything he's doing, and I certainly agree with the points you made. The players, you can't get paid $150 million like Wiggins is going to get paid, and not get better, not play defense. To me, it's just going to kind of fall. I'm counting on Butler to sort of crack him, and either he's going to crack him with the Wolves or Wiggins is somewhere else. I don't know exactly how that's going to go, and maybe Butler doesn't come back in 2 years either. So, Butler loves Tibbs coaching, so it clearly works for him. And
I don't see an issue with Taj.
With regards to Towns, he's always been an offensive player. I don't think you're ever going to get him to be like a defensive stopper. He makes plays. He blocks shots.
He does.
But you're clearly getting him for offense, and
but he's done
what he needs to do. I feel like in that regard.
he's a big enough player though where you should be able to expect him to get, average 3 blocks a game. Maybe that's a little higher.
It's probably too high.
He's got to I feel like he's got to make more of a stand on defense. He's got to make more of his presence felt. But I agree. I mean, the Wiggins thing I think is the biggest to me because we know he shows flashes of brilliance. But I mean, you look at sometimes his stat line, 27 points, 2 assists, or maybe 0. I mean, all he wants to do is score. And it feels like after he got paid, what do we see in sports? Guys have their best year ahead of their big payday. They get paid, and then they start to decline a little bit, or they just say, "Oh, well, I got paid. I'm gonna do what I can, but I'm not gonna give it my all. Right? I'm not gonna try and be better, I guess." So I would hope that Wiggins would try and get better. I mean, the Butler injury certainly affected this team. I don't think. If Butler was
no doubt about
way that they would be in this 8th seed right now. They would probably be the 3 seed.
And to be honest, they went, I think, 8-8 or something like that without Butler, and that was a lot better than what I expected. So I think in that way it's about right, but they need Butler, and I think the part with Wiggins that clearly he's the third option when Butler is in the lineup. They've got Towns. He does not like that. It doesn't work for him. And he's got to adjust because they're not going to willingly get rid of Butler. Towns is part of this future as well. That's one of those things where he's got to sort of look inward and figure out what he's going to do going forward, because I don't think that aspect's going to change.
I will say though, I mean the last 2 games I was hoping they would beat Denver on the road. I think they probably should have beat them, but you lose by 4. That's, okay, I guess, considering how they looked in previous games. And then, that first half against the Lakers, I was following that along, and I was like, oh, my God, what the hell is going on here? You can't lose to this team. And then all of a sudden, second half, they flip it around, and now I feel really confident that they will be able to beat the Grizzlies and the Nuggets at home and secure a playoff spot.
Yeah, they've played well at home. I think they'll be fine. They'll make
the Jazz game and the Grizzlies.
Yeah, well, and then that's you don't really love to see your former face of the franchise point guard come in and just tear you up for 23 points or whatever he did. But I think those 2 games, the loss to the Nuggets and the win against the Lakers, shows how important Towns is. You need Towns going. You need Towns to play the way he's capable of every night, and he's got to be that way every night. And I think that's the main thing with him that they got to figure out. They'd take what they're getting from Towns or from Wiggins. They'd take what they're getting from Towns from Wiggins, 2/3 of the time, because I don't feel like Wiggins is giving them that right now. So,
Charlie, on the east side, Philadelphia, I think, is the team I'm most interested in. You have Kyrie Irving out for Boston. Does that?
Yeah, I thought Boston until obviously Kyrie getting hurt that they could potentially come out of the East. Not now.
Does that affect where you think Boston is going to end up here? Boston's the 2. Philadelphia may end up as the 3. I think that'd be a great second round series, and I hope Philadelphia wins. So does Boston. Can Boston beat Philadelphia without Irving?
Who would Boston play in the first round for them? It'd be a winnable run,
yet to be decided yet. It'd be the Wizards, the Bucks, or the Heat.
As of right now, it is Milwaukee.
I think they would beat any of the. I think Boston's good enough to beat any of those.
Milwaukee is not good right now. Washington is
Milwaukee's
bad.
All right.
Well, they got Giannis, but they're kind of a mess otherwise.
Washington's bad.
Washington shouldn't be bad though. When they want to play, they are arguably one of the better, 4 best teams in the East.
Cleveland, Indiana.
The question was that, Charlie. I suppose we should let Charlie answer. If he has
Cleveland and Indiana is a pretty good first round series.
I like your idea of a Philadelphia and Boston second round matchup. I don't know. I think Philadelphia would win. I don't know. And like I said, I think a couple of weeks ago, if you're going to force me to bet like $100 on who's going to come out of the East, I would still pick Cleveland. But this is by far the least confident I've been, since LeBron went back to Cleveland and them going there. Like, sir, I think they can, and I'm still expecting them to, but as opposed to like 98% chance, and the only way they're not is with injuries. It's like, well, I don't know, about like 53% chance, maybe 60% chance, just because the East is more wide open. The Cavs have struggled at times.
I want to put this out there right now so that it's on the record. This is show me something Toronto time.
No shit, Toronto.
In the biggest way. I can't think of any more way we could say
they're going to lose in the second round to Cleveland.
They will.
They will. The second round.
They're doing the same thing they always do. They're kind of messing around here late in the year, raising some questions, and now watch. They won't get it done.
Here's the thing, Stacken. To win a title, you need at least minimum, almost without exception, you need 2 Hall of Famers. You need
with the exception being players. The 2004 Detroit Pistons.
That would be one of the exceptions right there.
One of like 3 exceptions in NBA history.
Is Ben Wallace not in the Hall of Fame?
That's a stunner to me.
Wait a second. When the Cavs won it, who was their second Hall of Famer?
Kyrie.
Kevin Love?
Forgot.
3.
Yeah, they're good players. I don't know, Hall of Fame worthy, but
yeah. Oh, well, when you have the second best player ever, there's
Tayshaun Prince isn't a Hall of Famer from Detroit.
Billups.
And I'm again suggestions for teams that have not had at least 2 Hall of Fame players to win a title, and Toronto doesn't have one that's anywhere close. So, and DeMar DeRozan in this era of 3-point shooters is not affecting
Serge Ibaka like that.
Yeah, Serge, Thaddeus Young not walking through that door. Dabo Sebalosha not walking through that door. So, for anybody that thinks Toronto's worth the shit, get the hell out of here. I would say Cleveland at 1. I give Cleveland about an 80% chance of coming out of this thing. I give Philadelphia about the other 20%.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Because I really wish Kyrie wouldn't have got hurt. I think it could have been really interesting then.
Would have been fun for once.
What kind of season?
And give them 2%.
Who? Toronto.
I'll give Toronto 2%.
They've got.
I'll give them 0.2%.
Good, even better.
The fact that Boston won 54 games with a beat-up Kyrie Irving and no Gordon Hayward is pretty impressive.
They're still a pretty good team without him. They've
got Tatum and got Horford.
Jalen
Stevens coaching.
Stevens is a good coach. They got a big Al Horford in there.
It just sucks that, for me, there's 2 teams that can win the title, and they're both in the West, and they're going to play each other in the conference finals. Like, I like LeBron. I'll go to bat for him every time, but I just don't see any way that he'll have a heroic effort to get him in the finals. He'll probably win a game or 2, but there's no way his team's going to win, right? That's why.
Their defense is horrendous.
Yeah,
and
Adam Silver, Nathan Stacken playoff approach here, we wouldn't have.
Have we done this yet? We got to wait for the final deal here.
Yep, and I'm gonna have to wait until I'm gonna have to wait until 10 o'clock tonight to just do the NHL stuff because Boston and Florida have to play. I think it's a makeup game from a snowstorm back in February, but I can't. Don't quote me on that.
Good.
Also, this is the yearly time. Oh, the echo's back.
Oh, I heard.
Oh, wait, hold on. Nope, not back. Gone now. Fixed itself.
Great.
This is the yearly time where I say that the Minnesota Timberwolves should be in the Eastern Division, not the Western Division.
Yep.
Right. They'd probably be a 4
because geographically it would make more sense.
It does not make sense that Milwaukee and Chicago get to be in the East.
Well, they are east of Minnesota, so that does make sense. Yes.
Yep.
Right now, Stacken's top 16. I hear
Texas is back.
I hear this shit is what I hear. It's on and off. It's good now, right? It's good now.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just leave it there. Oh, that's. God damn it. Toronto could be the 2 seed with Golden State. They're in the battle for the 2 seed overall, and Boston would be your 4 seed. So That'd be interesting to see. Philadelphia would be a 5. Cleveland would be a 6. So you could potentially get Golden State as a 3 and Cleveland as a 6. That'd be something.
Sign me up for that.
Finals. And Houston. Anybody like Golden State to not win this again?
Charlie does. All in on Houston. Houston's going to the finals. This is the year that James Harden and Mike D'Antoni and all those things of the guys, it just all coalesces into one thing, and they get it done.
I want to give the Warriors the benefit of the doubt and just say, yeah, but they have looked like shit the last month. I mean, how can you say with any sort of confidence that this team is going to turn it around come playoff time, that Steph is going to be 100% healthy in the second round?
I feel confident.
I hope they can win it, because I'd rather have them win it than Houston, because screw you, Houston. But get ravaged by a hurricane. No.
Terrible sack. Terrible.
By the way, that Masters lead is already down to 2 after
one.
Reed struggled on the first hole and Rory made a
that Yankees lead is down to 1, for fuck's sake.
I don't care about the Yankees, for God's sakes.
Disappointing start. There we go. Baseball we go. Stacking, anything rubbing you the wrong way about the baseball? We got Shohei Ohtani. 3 games, 3 home runs. He's a monster.
He's been phenomenal. Not since the Twins cry fest on last Sunday have I seen anything that's too terrible. I mean, Philly fans booed Gabe Kapler, so that was
deservedly so.
Yep.
Wait, hold on. People in Philadelphia aren't known for booing people. That's out of the ordinary.
Did we got an echo? Yep. All right. I hate New Orleans. I think that's well established in this realm here. Philadelphia as well. I hate Philadelphia.
Yeah.
The city?
Yes.
Yeah.
Texas is back.
That better? Yes.
No.
God damn it. Better.
The show that's so nice, we say everything twice.
Like Eagles, don't care for the Eagles. Phillies, I like the Phillies. I like what Gabe Kapler is trying to do there.
I like
Philadelphia. I'm all out on Philadelphia. I like Philadelphia.
It's well documented that I like cheesesteak more than anybody, as much as anybody. But yeah, I don't much care for their teams or the people or any of that. So
the team's not so much.
I like Joel Embiid, obviously, but and I'm not real cool with the Sixers because
I like Sixers.
Has Fultz figured out his shot? It's better now, but yeah, the jerseys are good too. Sixers jerseys are good.
I like that Utah and Philadelphia were the 2 surprise teams this year. They were the 2 surprise teams getting the 3 seed in the East, and maybe even the 4 seed out West. So good.
What I don't like about the Utah thing was they're saying, "Hey, Gordon Hayward, bleep you. We don't. We're gonna do good without you." And then they did, but it's like, no, you can still be upset that you didn't get Gordon Hayward. Like I don't know. It was just kind of a weird way of going about it. It's okay that Gordon Hayward left. You don't need to rub it in his face. You can be 2 separate teams. So
they've got Donovan Mitchell, who should be the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, he did good.
They found a guy there, so that's a good find for them. And Rubio, I don't know if he's because his assists. I saw his assist numbers, and they're dramatically down.
They're in the tank. Yeah.
I don't know. So I don't know if people think he's Eamon likes him for whatever reason.
Because he's a hot guy.
Sure, he's hot guy. But he's just we know what he is. His numbers aren't going to get better, but I don't know if people think he's better now because they're winning. The way Teague has played, I guess it would make. I don't think it made any difference that Teague was there and Rubio wasn't. I think they'd be the same team with Rubio now. I guess it's been a disappointment.
They'd be sexier with Rubio, no doubt.
Good for everybody involved there. So, Twins got a game canceled. They played 4 games this week. Good full week for them.
Good job.
Any Twins notes? They seem to like to fall behind a lot.
It's not cool. It's not cool. What I like is that the offense is good enough to get them back in the game. Not enthralled with the starting pitching after the first weekend, but it's all right. And the bullpen, for the most part, doing okay. So, all in all, I think you gotta be all right with that. I had something else I was going to say.
Charlie's White Sox are their offense is hitting a lot of home runs. I like your White Sox, Charlie.
Yeah, when ultimately you're probably not going to be great at the end of the season, the best thing you can do is be good on offense.
You're not terrible. So
yeah, but I mean, by the end of the year,
yeah,
I'm not saying they can't be. I don't expect them to be hovering around 500 at the end of the year. But like with both, if you're not good, at least be good on offense. And if you're good on offense, at least it's more interesting.
Be fun to watch. Stack and the Pirates threatening 8-1. They played some garbage teams. They played the Twins twice.
Mm-hmm.
They played Cincinnati.
We played Detroit and Cincinnati. Yep.
Detroit. So that's good for them. It's very difficult, no matter who you play, to go 7-1, 8-1. So
no, they're not 8. They're not 8-1.
7-2. They're 6-2. Soon to be 7-2. Boston.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be 8-1. Houston
helps when you play the Rays 8 times.
They are playing the Rays, and coincidentally, Tampa Bay is 1-8. So, Tampa Bay could be they're on the verge of badness. Giants, Arizona, Stack, and I told you I like Arizona to win that division now.
Yep, I like your pick of them and the Mets. The Mets.
Mets.
I don't want to
love the Mets.
I don't want to jump on your on the bandwagon here with you quite yet.
The Mets.
And yeah, I don't want to jinx them.
You're a goddamn Mets fan. Goddamn.
No. All right.
METS, Mets.
But I'm extremely impressed by the Mets, and I hope they can continue that this season. I'd like to see them in over a team like the Cardinals or the Cubs. The Mets, certainly a team that I've been very impressed with so far through this first week, and kudos to you for calling them and the Diamondbacks out because they are both doing very good so far.
I will go on the record as pointing out that I did have the Angels in the wild card, and they might be a team that could get there. So we'll see.
They're good.
The Angels have this outfielder that's really good, so he might help the Angels do good this year.
Justin Upton, he's a pretty good guy. Charlie, I mean, this Asian's killing folks. He pitches today against Oakland again. We'll see how he does. He can throw 98, 99. He's hitting home runs.
Wait, if he's killing people, does Stacken want him deported also?
No, it depends on if he used a hand dolly or not.
I said no.
What do you think about MVP chances for this guy? 20 home runs I think is possible. Pitching, I think he's a better pitcher than a hitter. So we have not had to consider a guy MVP quality. I mean, pitchers rarely win MVP.
Literally since Babe Ruth, we have not had to consider this. Yeah.
And so it's something that you can have a.
So wait, this is a guy that's a pitcher that's also a good hitter too.
Yeah, he plays DH.
Yeah,
like
DH
3 or 4 times a week.
He'll play outfield. And the good thing is,
wait, where does he play for?
The Angels.
All right, well, this is my new favorite baseball player.
He's the first player since Babe Ruth to hit 3 home runs in between starts in a season over 100 years.
His swing is beautiful. I love watching it.
The old Japanese uppercut there.
Yep.
Like, I kind of remember back when I followed baseball more, there was a point in time where, like, Dontrell Willis, who at that point in time was, like, the best hitting pitcher in a while, maybe. They were like, oh, my God, they're batting him 8th instead of 9th today. This is a huge deal. And there was one game where they batted him 7th, and it was, like, the highest a pitcher had batted in decades. So, yeah, long story short. your pitcher and you can hit well. That's fun and different.
I
like this more than the switch throwing pitcher. This is way more interesting than that.
They're putting them 7th or 8th in the batting order. Maybe move them up a little bit, perhaps later on in the season. Like MVP candidate. I mean, this is.
I mean, I feel like he's going to have like a sub 2.5 ERA, right? I mean, his ERA will have to be pretty good.
Under 3 would be. Well, you just look at his hitting numbers. You know, depending on what he does hitting, he can just be, like a, low 3 ERA guy.
And hit above 300.
Like a 260 hitter with 20 home runs. That's like, Jesus Christ, that's a shit ton of value right there.
We'll see. We'll see.
What do they expect him to go like in terms of innings pitched?
Normal?
Yeah, like 6 innings, considering how many times he's going to hit throughout the week. Is that
normal 180? Okay. If he's healthy, he'll throw 180, 200 innings.
Okay. I just didn't know if they try and like cap him off at like an average of 6 an inning.
Like what they're doing, they're not batting him the day after he pitches, the day before he pitches, or the day that he pitches. And they're going with the 6-man rotation, which is what they do in Japan, so he gets maybe a little bit more rest, or the normal rest, which he is accustomed to in Japan. My one negative on the Angels is they don't have enough good pitchers to have a 6-man rotation, so that's a negative for them. But this guy could be 10 days in. I think he's probably the story of the game. Very exciting.
What if he's just like above average in both hitting and like I'm trying to think like if he's got like a 3.2 ERA and like I know what WHIP is, but I don't know like what a WHIP would be.
Like a 1.1.
Yeah, and then he bats like I don't know, like 280 and has like 80 RBIs or something like that.
That'd be amazing.
Like, I think, like, even then, I don't know if you'd win MVP, but I think you'd still have to give him serious consideration just for being
his WAR. I want to see what his WAR is. If you can be like a 5 WAR pitcher, then on top of that, add like 2 WAR hitter. That's
WAR.
Crazy stuff.
That's 5 plus 2, which is like a 9 WAR, I think.
Something close to that. And that would be good enough to get the deal done here. Stack, and I always love when we do this. It's on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're gonna say
college.
You're gonna say exactly what I was thinking. That it feels like the national championship happened about.
We're an hour into the show. Yes.
Happened about 3 months ago.
College football and college basketball on the Monday nights, and these games happened 3 months ago. And another lackluster game. First 15 minutes were good. Villanova pounded them in the second half. So tournament comes to a close. What I believe you won some monies from the deal.
I did. We won't say how much.
I feel like I should win a small percentage for having the worst possible filled out bracket.
We'll consider that next year, Charlie.
I'm kidding, Zach.
I know that. I know. I was gonna say I can't write a bylaw into this competition.
If you're gonna call McGregor a piece of shit, you can admit to winning some monies.
I can say piece of shit, but I mean gambling is not good. It's illegal. But that. yeah, I did. It was nice.
Was it third time?
I'll let the FBI know. I'll let the FBI know.
Thanks.
Hashtag lock them up.
Lock them up.
It's for sure the second year. It might be the third year out of. Well, I've been doing this since 2007. So
10, 11 years. 11 years.
Yeah. So I'd say like
since Florida was winning national titles.
Boom, those were the years.
Bill Kim Noah.
What did you keep track of the brackets and the standings? Mm-hmm. What obviously the big Virginia upset? Were there a lot of terrible brackets this year because of many 1 seeds lost? Were the points less than?
Yep. Definitely points were less this year than in most years. I mean I'd have to look. Yeah, I could pull that up just to see what the winning total was in previous years. Maybe I'll do that after our chat here. But yeah, 85 points won it this year. That's extremely low.
Sometimes it's like 100 points that win.
Right. For the most part, yeah. I mean, the South region screwed everyone up. I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of, some people had Michigan State going far, and that didn't work out. Actually, if
Charlie's bad bracket, he did have Michigan State going far.
Yeah.
Along with Virginia.
You know what? If Michigan had lost to Houston in the second round, this would be lower than I think we'd ever seen it before. I mean, that would have changed the complexion of this whole thing here, because going in to the final game, there were still like 12, 15 people in the mix to see if they could win any cold hard cash. And then tiebreakers. I put this in the group on Facebook. Yeah, and tiebreakers have never played as big a role in this as they did this year. And I didn't realize how much they would at first until I was looking at it Monday night. There were 6 people who had Villanova winning it. 2 were going for second and third, and then 4 were going for fourth and fifth. I mean, it's just insane. But yeah, I would say the number of upsets to high seeded teams crushed a lot of people. Xavier.
Was your third tiebreaker a coin flip or not?
I did not have a third tiebreaker, no. So that would have been interesting if we would have had to go there.
Better than some high school activity associations tiebreakers.
Would that be South Dakota?
Yes. Terrible.
Or Texas and the movie Friday Night Lights, where they flipped a coin.
Flip a coin at the goddamn diner.
What are we doing? To decide what the seeds?
In Friday Night Lights, I think it was to figure out who was going to the playoffs.
What the fuck?
Now, granted, I don't know if that's what happened in real life. I know I read the book and watched the movie, and there were a lot of changes the movie made. But maybe that really happened. I don't remember. It was a long time ago I read the book.
I would also
Tiger's done. His card was kind of all over the place today. 1 over for the tournament.
Disappointing, but I'm glad he I mean, that's going to be a top 30 finish.
Well, I mean, it's not realistic to think that he was going to win the tournament. I'm just going to say that, and I would have said that before.
When was the last time in sports we had something maybe, I don't want to say unrealistic, but like as unfair as, oh my God, Tiger's going to win the Masters at 41 or 42 or whatever in his first major tournament in a while.
Virginia's going to win the national tournament.
Yeah.
Virginia,
You know what? Fair enough. Good point. It hasn't been that long, actually.
Why can't Virginia win? Why? Because they can't fucking score. That's why they can't. Well, like if you're looking at this, you're gonna get if you're gonna shoot, where a 5 under right now gets you a top 10. That may go up to like 7 under. So, like I don't think it was too much to ask for him to shoot under par. Like, 4 or 5 under should have been in the mix, and he didn't do that, which is disappointing. So. Yeah, Patrick Reed 13 under, McIlroy at 12 under. Yeah, so it's
there's gonna be some stuff here. There's gonna be some stuff the rest of the way.
I might shoot that right there.
Congrats to UMBC, by the way, for knocking off #1 Albany in men's lacrosse, second #1 seed that they've taken down this year.
Did anybody pick UMBC in the bracket or not, or do you know that?
No one did. I was in a work bracket though, and someone did pick UMBC. Wow. To beat Virginia, but he picked all 16 seeds to win and picked 15s to his final 4 was 4 16 seeds. So
I like that.
I immediately hate this guy.
Well, it's clear that he had no I'm guessing he had no understanding of how the tournament works, so that's good.
No, I believe he did. And he was just
he just he does not follow sports, from what I've gathered.
Right, that's what I mean.
No, the person at work who won it. At my work was the person who knew the least of the basketball of the 10 people involved.
That's usually how it goes.
It happens a lot.
The office secretary always wins.
Something like that.
Wow, Stackin, secretaries can't follow basketball?
Wow.
That's real inappropriate.
Wow. Yeah.
Me too, Stackin, me too. Short question here, a very difficult question. I'll give everybody a strike because it's Easter.
If I foul it off, do I still stay alive?
Yes. Foul tips should be outs. Since 1980, named the leading scorer in the NCAA tournament. Each year has a different leading scorer. 1980 to this year.
Ooh.
A variety of college folks that are known and not known, and a bunch of guys that'll say their names, and you'll be like, holy shit, I remember that guy. So let's see.
This ought to be good.
Charlie,
I like this question.
Charlie, Marcus, and Jerry Lime is last. What are the chips? What do I got for chips or whatever we're eating here?
We're eating M&Ms.
M&Ms. Raw.
Is this
raw M&Ms?
How is this figured?
By total points.
Total points. No minimum. No minimum number of games.
So it's the national champion or just the leading scorer in the entire tournament that year?
Can you name the top scorer in each tournament? So the person that scored the most points.
I like this. So you wouldn't have to go to the Final Four to be the person. But it's probably going to be a guy who at least made the Final Four and played at least 5 games most times.
And there's one gentleman who is on here, I believe, twice. He did it in back-to-back years.
Wow.
If you get him, then Stacking will give you something. Charlie's first.
I'm trying to think of what – I don't want – even though we get one strike, I don't want to get the first one wrong.
How realistic is it to expect Noah Stacking to participate in this at the age of 7?
Participate in what?
A trivia question.
Not unrealistic at all, and if he doesn't win, we'll make fun of him. No, too extreme, too far.
I would just say, son, there are no participation trophies or ribbons in this game. You got to deal with the punches.
Wow.
Deal with them. Deal with the punches like my favorite fighter, Conor McGregor. Right. Was Conor ever considered as a name?
No, he was not. Not even close.
Not even close, he says.
Charlie's up.
Neither was LeVar.
Well, that sucks.
Since 1980, you said.
So a college players, some that I've never heard of, some that we have heard of, and obviously
the merger.
Since the merger.
Like, I'm trying to think of guys who, like, A, probably did it, and B, if I get it wrong, I can at least be like, you know what, I'm okay swinging for the fence with that guy. I know this guy, I'm pretty sure he won back-to-back titles. I don't know if he's the guy who did it 2 years in a row, but was known for being quite good. I am going to guess that one of them was Nathan Stacking's all-time favorite basketball player, Christian Laettner.
Christian Laettner did it 91-92. He gets it right off the bat, folks.
Oh, yeah.
You get something from Stacking, whether it be M&Ms or whatever.
You get a yellow one. A yellow.
What do you save the umbilical cord? Do you put it in the freezer? What do you do with it?
We did not save that, no.
Is that an option?
It is.
It is. You could.
Put it on the Bud Green garage sale. Who the hell knows? Can you imagine what a Babe Ruth umbilical cord would be worth?
Well, technically, we can clone people now, and that would be genetic material, so I suppose you could do all sorts of crazy stuff with it.
Priceless.
I mean, I don't know how to clone people, but apparently it's possible.
I think you put a little something in a blender, you piece of this, piece of that, like a smoothie, and you kind of maybe put it in the oven for 4 or 5 hours at 350. And
I'm trying to think that there is something that you can eat that maybe it's, I think, the placenta or something that's a very nutrient.
Why do they do that? Why do they do that?
I don't know. It is. It's full of nutrients. I don't know why people are,
they watched Fear Factor and they took it seriously.
Like the cows eat the afterbirth sometimes, also not great.
Can we just get on with the question?
By the way, the guy, Tony Finau, who broke his ankle earlier this week, he's tied for 19th. So
you get a strong showing for him.
That's about as big of a miracle as there is in sports.
It's a miracle. Yeah, it's a miracle.
Marcus, you're up.
I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go with another Duke person. I'm gonna go with Jay Williams.
Yep.
Can you hear me? Yeah, was that good?
Yeah. Okay. 2001, Jason Williams did it.
I thought about guessing that one, then I was like, there were like 3 really good Duke players on that team, and I don't know which one I want to guess.
The Bulls picked him with like the 2nd or 3rd pick, and he had the motorcycle accident, but I feel confident because he played like a season or 2 before that. I feel confident saying he wasn't any good to begin with. So, motorcycle accident or not, it would not have affected him at all. Stacking.
I got to think Michael Jeffrey Jordan is on this list.
He's not. Didn't do it.
What? Do it.
Oh, God.
What the hell?
Well, I know the year they won the title, he was a freshman, and they also had James Worthy on the team.
Shit.
I don't know how far they went any of the other years.
Like Elite 8, Sweet 16. So that's one for you, Charlie.
I don't know. I should say I don't know if any of these guys did it or not. I'm thinking of guys who at least made to the Final Four and were known for being the best player on a team easily. I will guess that Carmelo Anthony did it for Syracuse.
He did. 03, it was Anthony, the folks. The 1 year he got it, the 1 year he didn't. For the Qs.
My turn?
Yes.
Considering the team is known as Danny and the Miracles, I'll go with Danny Manning.
That's a smart guess.
1988, Kansas won it. Danny Manning had the most points of any player in tournament. Stack.
Anthony Davis.
No.
Well, that's great.
Right out, just like that.
Hashtag
Boom.
stacking goes out first. Not Charlie.
2, or I got a couple of gentlemen here without strikes. Stacking, you do have the option of giving them both of your strikes.
Can I do that?
Nope. We can't.
You have the option, and now it's been taken away.
I don't want to. I want to keep them. I want to keep them.
Wow. It sounds like a Indian giver.
Wow,
Racist.
stacking.
What a racial thing.
Deporting people, making fun of secretaries, racist things.
I said it's going to be a
Really been inappropriate today.
volatile show for Fargo's finest.
Making fun of Irish people and Conor McGregor.
Get them out of here.
Get him out of here.
Not my finest hour by any stretch.
At some point, I will probably guess guys who maybe didn't play in the national title game.
Honestly, I think it is Stacking's finest hour. I think it's his finest.
Good. I'm glad you think so.
I think so.
I'm going to stick with it, though. I'm not going to guess Okafor. I'm going to guess for that UConn team, it was Ben Gordon who scored the most in the tournament.
Mid-2000s, Charlie, is prime college basketball for you. 04, Ben Gordon, yes.
Yeah, Charlie in high school and early college days, that era when I watched lots and lots and lots of college basketball.
Oh, son of a gun! Someone.
I'll stay with the UConn. I'll go with Kemba Walker.
Kemba Walker, 2011.
I was hoping guessing one UConn wouldn't make someone likely to guess the other. Let's see.
Oh, Tiger shot 69 though today. Nice.
Also, the Bandits scored 69 points last night.
Nice.
In a win?
In a win. They beat the Kansas City Phantoms by 14.
And the other team had a guy named
O.J. Simpson. Who was that? What was that about?
Yeah, he was a running back named O.J. Simpson who returned a kickoff for a touchdown.
He went to USC, played for a few years in Buffalo.
There's a point in time I thought about saying the juice is loose, and then I thought, I don't know.
How old was he?
Too soon.
How old? I don't know. I didn't check his. I was using the roster that the Sioux City Bandits people gave us, which was incredibly poor for what they wanted. Like the Bandits roster was fine. There's pictures of everyone and height and weight and what college they went to. For Kansas City, not in numerical order. It was their names in alphabetical order by their first name. And it just said their name and what number they were. Not how tall they were, not how old they were, not where they played collegiately or anything. But there is a player for the Kansas City Phantoms named O.J. Simpson.
Is that person?
Too soon with the juices on the loose.
That's why I didn't tweet it, because I thought that, someone at work might be like, you know what, maybe you shouldn't.
Well, this is apparently it's his he's a wide receiver,
or maybe he's a receiver. I don't know.
He's 32. It's his 10th year. He's 5'9", 190. So so what, he was 32. So he was born in 86.
86. So he's the same age as me.
So he was about 10 years old. So what, he'd be like in the 4th or 5th grade when this OJ trial's going on. What a fucking childhood this guy must have had.
Yeah.
First 10 years you're going along, I'm fucking OJ Simpson. Look at me, boys. And man, look at this guy. That's amazing. That's a great life to live. What, Charlie, you up here?
We
got to change the game. We got to change the Diamondbacks Cardinals.
I can see it. Well, no, I'm going to stick with what I was doing. I'm going to say, what would it have been? I think 2002. I'm going to say Juan Dixon from Maryland was the tournament's leading scorer.
That's a good one.
Yes, it is. He's on the list. All right, we got it. Pretty sure he's on the list. That's an answer. Juan Dixon, 02 Maryland. He did it.
So important to have a very quick, short term. I forget what happened on the last hole.
Marcus?
I'm with you here. Just a second. I had to grab something for work real quick.
Preseason pull out for volleyball yet? Come on.
Probably.
Come on, it's April 10th coming up here. Hell of a pitcher's duel stacking in St. Louis today. Hell of a pitcher's duel.
Good.
I'm going to go with Sean May, 2005 UNC.
That's a good answer.
Sean May is the correct answer, yes. There is one guy recently here. I have no idea who it is. Never heard of him. Never heard of him. Not a goddamn clue.
Well,
now we're to the point where we've guessed enough ones that I'm thinking of guys. It's like, oh yeah, this guy, and it's like, nah, I'm pretty sure they lost in the second round, so he probably didn't score enough points that year. Like this isn't my answer. I'm pretty confident Adam Morrison was never the leading scorer in the NCAA tournament.
Not based on total points.
Yeah, not on total points. I will guess for one of those running Rebels teams, it was Larry Johnson.
Nope.
Son of a bee sting.
Have we ever had winter weather advisories during the Masters on the screen
yes,
like there is now?
Probably we have, but not in a long time.
Unbelievable.
It's kind of a weird.
So there's thunderstorms, sure.
My guess is going to be Frank Kaminsky, Wisconsin.
2015, yes.
I really hated Frank Kaminsky.
Still do.
I still do. Do you like him now that he's on the Hornets?
Yeah. No. Go Hornets.
Let's see.
The lead is back up to 3.
I've got like a few mediocre answers that I'm not super confident in any of them, and I'm just trying to think of guys who played a lot of games. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm pretty sure those Houston teams that were really good lost to Georgetown one year, but I don't know if it was Ewing or Olajuwon who scored the most points, so I don't want to guess either of those. I know there was a UConn team that beat Duke. And I think Trajan Langdon played for Duke and Richard Hamilton played for UConn. And I'm going to guess that Richard Hamilton had the most points in the tournament that year in like 97 or 8.
1999, Richard Hamilton did.
That's good. That's good stuff.
The deep dig right there, folks. It's a good one.
I came really close to saying Trajan Langdon because you said there's a lot of guys on the list that you had no clue who they were, and I thought that would be a fairly obscure guy.
Shitty Duke players.
I'm going to go with Derrick Rose, 2008 Memphis.
No.
Oh.
We're tied, folks.
Derrick Rose was also one I came close to saying earlier, too.
Oh, I think I know the guy from that year then.
Ooh. Morse code it to me.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's the guy I was thinking of.
Charlie. What this was I didn't expect this to go, I don't know, more than 2 rounds or 3 rounds.
We're trying hard, okay?
It's gone 6 or 7, so
all right.
Amazing.
I don't know that a guy from Florida did it, but Florida won back-to-back national titles. I'm going to assume one of those years a Florida guy led. The problem is I got to figure out which Florida guy to guess on.
There's only like 8 guys it could be.
Was that Florida team?
In one year they played UCLA, and 1 year they played Ohio State, and they both had guys that were really good, so maybe it wasn't a Florida guy either year.
Were those Florida teams like the Pistons teams, or like there's a bunch of good guys, there's like no one great guy?
Yeah, they were all above average.
Well, yeah, a bunch
well,
of.
I mean, they were better for college, but like in terms of then translating it to the NBA, I don't think any of them are great, but a lot of them were good. And maybe this is just being colored by him doing well in the NBA. I will guess Al Horford did it.
He did not do it.
I am going to guess.
For a victory. If not, we begin again.
I'm going to guess because I believe he was by far the best player on their team, and I think they won the title. I will go with Glenn Robinson.
That's a good answer.
Glenn Robinson?
Or Glenn Rice. I'm sorry. Glenn Rice, I meant. The Sarah Palin
What are you doing here, man?
Glenn Rice, I meant. Yes.
I'll give it to you, Glenn Rice.
It was
this guy one of them?
I was like, who's that?
Is that Joakim Noah?
Yeah, Noah was yep, he was the guy.
Doggone it.
Noah was the leading guy?
Yeah.
God, I never thought of him as a good offensive player. But
you said Glenn Robinson because there's Glenn Robinson with Purdue and there's Kid Glenn Robinson.
There was Glenn Robinson
with Michigan. I'm like, well, they both
bad.
Like, well,
that year with Derrick Rose, was it Mario Chalmers? Was he the leading scorer?
Chris Douglas Roberts from Memphis.
Oh,
yes. Wow, I forgot all about that guy. You were right. We would say that Krenz, that we'd be like, I forgot about that guy. He was good.
We got a bunch. We got a bunch of guys.
Was it either Hakeem Olajuwon or Patrick Ewing 1 year?
Rob Williams for Houston in '82.
Cool.
Luke Hancock, Louisville. Did we forget about him?
No.
Okay. Who was it this year? Was it Dante DiVincenzo?
It was Dom. Dom did it this year.
No, that's
Malik Newman for Kansas.
Huh.
Who will very easily be forgotten. It's hard to be forgotten if you've never been remembered in the first place. So
that's right.
Malik Newman. True. Tyler Dorsey for Oregon last year.
No, wow.
One of
him already.
One of Stacken's favorites from 2 years ago. Buddy Hield.
Early on, I thought about Buddy Hield, and then I completely forgot about him after that. So I wish I would have remembered.
They made the Final Four that year.
Jimmer Fredette's not on this list, is he?
Jimmer, no. Shabazz Napier when Connecticut won it 5 years ago.
Okay.
Russ Smith for Louisville, the broken leg year. Thomas Robinson for Kansas. Thomas Robinson. 2010, another white Duke guy, Kyle Singler.
Go to hell.
'09 Carolina Timberwolves great Wayne Ellington. The first guy I have no idea who he is. Ohio State in '07, some guy named Ron Lewis.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
He was a 3-point specialist.
I assume he's black. Big Baby Davis in '06.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
Too.
2002 Indiana, Jared Jeffries.
I don't think I've heard that name since the last time I played NBA Street on PlayStation 2, which was well over a decade ago.
He was a poor NBA guy.
Was Richard Jefferson on this list?
Yeah, Richard Jefferson, no. Mo Peterson, 2000 Michigan State. Marcus, Marcus, 98. Who do you think? The old Gophers 98 year.
It was 97 was the Gophers.
Them two. 97 year.
Bobby Jackson?
Wasn't a Gopher.
97, Miles Simon.
Miles Simon, yep. It was Michael Doliak in 98. John Wallace for the Qs in 96. Charlie, Arkansas in 95.
God, who was that Arkansas guy? Was it Corliss Williamson?
Corliss Williamson in 95. Some dude in 94 for Arizona I've never heard of.
Corliss Williamson, who looked like he was 45 when he was 20.
Kind of like Jerron Carter.
Yes, an all old man team.
All about the olds.
Carolina guy in 93. Dennis Scott in 90 for Georgia Tech. Steve Alford, unfortunately, in 87. Johnny Dawkins in 86. Chris Mullen in 85.
Chris Mullen.
And those are basically all guys that are worth a damn to mention. So.
Who's the most obscure of obscure names that you wouldn't even remotely, if there is one that sticks out more than others?
Some guy from Dayton in 84 named Roosevelt Chapman. Not a clue.
Yep, I've not heard of this individual before.
There's about 7 or 8. I have no idea who the fuck they are. Noah is probably the most surprising, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, let Mike not Mike Conley.
Corey Brewer.
Yeah, let Corey Brewer score. He had 50 in the NBA.
So I don't know what Noah did in '06. Maybe he had 75 points.
Those UCLA teams, maybe, because I know they were really good for like 4 years. Did they have Kevin Love and Russell Westbrook on the same team, or were they not together?
Weren't they both? Didn't they both leave after their freshman year?
Yeah.
They did, but I don't remember if they were on the same team or if it was one guy and then he left and then it was the next guy.
I think Love was before Westbrook.
Okay. Because if they didn't play together, then it's irrelevant. But I was going to say, if those two guys were on the same team, how would you not beat a whole bunch of other college guys?
I don't remember any UCLA guys from like that 05-06.
Kevin Love and Russell Westbrook, and then they had some other point guard or guard, but I don't even remember his name anymore.
Aaron Aflalo?
Yeah, there we go. In that time period. Lounge 247.
Wait, what about the NHL playoff picks?
Holy shit, I damn near forgot it.
Also, real quick on college basketball, not that it really matters, but worth noting, Villanova, the first team in a while to win all 6 games by double digits. We're maybe not incredibly difficult the first 4 games, but certainly they beat a pretty loaded Kansas team and a really hot Michigan team in the title game.
04, I think, with UNC was the last team to do that. 04 or 05.
I think it was the 09. It was the Tyler Hansborough North Carolina team that did it most recently.
Okay.
I do not mind.
Well, I saw most of those North Carolina games, and they just fucking slaughtered people.
They were a good team. I don't mind when the best team wins, and Villanova was the best team, and they did the deal. And Stack and we kind of talked about it. The teams for next year. You like Kansas State to be a team?
I think Kansas State has the potential to be good because they have 7 returning starters. Their top leading their top 7 leading scorers are all coming back. That Wade, that big fella who played 7 minutes in the NCAA tournament, he'll be back. I think Alabama is going to be really good next year, even though Colin Sexton won't be there. But they have a lot of good freshmen and sophomores. Auburn should be really good. But if Mikal Bridges comes back, which I doubt he will, but you do still have DiVincenzo and that Omari Spellman freshman. I think Villanova's the team to beat next year. Them and Duke with Zion Williamson and that RJ Barrett going to be really, really good.
Villanova has won 2 of the last 3 national titles. If they are a top 5 team next year, how strong nationally will the Villanova hate be that typically happens, where it's just like, you've won it this much, now we don't want you to win anymore?
Not as strong, mainly because they've used players that have been there for a few years, not the one and dones, I think. And I don't think people are going to be expecting them to win the national title next year either.
Duke is going to be a heavy favorite.
Them in Kansas are going to be up there.
Well, but Malik Newman is declaring for the draft. I don't know about Azubuike, but
Azubuike.
I don't think there will be hatred for Villanova, not like with the Duke.
Well, there'll be some. Yeah, I'm not saying they'll be as bad as Duke necessarily.
I think Jay Wright does it the right way, that this program's not, at least that we know of, under any the microscope of the NCAA. And, as mentioned, they do get guys who aren't just one and done. They build them the right way. So I think this is a likable team. And
unlike the Baltimore Orioles, they play the game the right way.
Krins, what are your thoughts on Villanova, knowing that they are from Philadelphia?
Because I hated Villanova, now I'm fine with them because
that hurts.
They weren't boring as fuck as they were a couple of years ago. Now they're actually the opposite of boring as fuck.
Here's the difference. The shitty people of Philadelphia don't cheer for Villanova. This is for the elite. The elite.
They cheered for St. Joe's, or who are they cheering for?
I don't know.
Sal.
Yeah. Oh, LaSalle, maybe.
Duquesne?
Drexel. Probably Drexel. No, Duquesne's in Pittsburgh. I'd
vote for him. I'd vote for him. Duquesne. Got my vote. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the team. I don't like the Eagles. I never really liked the Eagles. The Phillies.
Probably even less so now that Carson Wentz.
Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan of them Eagles. And I like what the Sixers are doing. So.
What about when Dallas Goedert goes to Philadelphia? I'll shit my pants if that happens. I don't even want that. Not cool.
Stackett, would you rather he goes to Philadelphia and has a great career and is potentially a Hall of Famer, or he goes to
the Vikings,
the Indianapolis Colts, Luck's hurt and gets traded and has the most mediocre, no one watches or cares, and after 8 years they're just like, yeah, we're going to start over, and he's out of the NFL?
I would much rather have the former.
So
I'm making sure.
Yeah.
I went down the Wikipedia rabbit hole here just a minute ago, and it's interesting to remember that Steve Fisher only was the coach of that Glenn Rice team because the coach before got fired.
What, he coached 10 games?
He coached, I think, 7 or 8, and that's a good way to start your career. Hey, just pick it up in the NCAA tournament, win the national title. And then the coach that left went to Arizona State, never did anything. So,
why do you leave in the middle of the year?
I watched something on this the other day. It was like
he was going to take the job at Arizona State, and
well, fuck, it was the middle of February. What the fuck?
At the end of the year, and Bo Schembechler was the AD, and he said, "Bleep you, we're going to have a Michigan man coach the team." And he promoted Steve Fisher.
Yeah, the guy took the job, but was still going to coach the rest of the season. And Bo Schembechler, who I think was not coaching anymore and was just the AD, was just like, nope, you're all in or you're all out. And it turned out it worked fine for them because they ended up winning the title somehow.
How stupid would you feel, though, if you left the team or you got fired because you're going to another team and then your team wins the title?
I feel worse than Tiki Barber.
One last Dallas Goedert thought for today. The NFL announced the 22 players who will be live in Dallas to get their name called, and Dallas Goedert is not one of them.
Good.
The draft is in Dallas this year. I think that is a huge missed opportunity for the NFL and for Dallas Goedert.
Thoughts?
A huge missed opportunity because of the potential pun there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a guarantee that he's even going to go in the first round. So what difference does it make?
Well, but all of these guys aren't going to go in the first round. So
I know.
I think he's going to go to either the Saints or the Jaguars. That's who my money's on.
Charlie?
Yes.
Raiders picked Janikowski with the first pick. Was it 1999?
Yeah, it wasn't like.
I think it was 2000. I think it was after the 99 season. I think it was the 2000 draft.
Or 17th pick, 15th pick?
In the top 20.
17th. Yeah.
It was the 17th pick. Was that a good? Was obviously career looks to be done. Ridiculous to take a kicker with the 17th.
It was a good. It worked out though. It was a good pick.
What would you say? I mean, just to look at some of the gentlemen after. I don't know what the Raiders needed in 2000.
Look at some of the gentlemen before, though. That may be a better.
Not good. Not good.
Well, if it's before, though, those aren't guys they could take anyway because they were already taken.
There's nobody. Okay. There's really nobody within the next 10 picks that blew them away. So was this a good pick 20 years later?
I think it ended up being a good pick, but they could have got a better value if they would have waited because they could have gotten him in the second round also. But ultimately, I think that's the rare occasion where drafting a kicker or a punter really early, years later, you're like, you know what? That was probably the right decision.
You don't have to worry about your kicker for 18 years. That's not so bad.
This leads me to another favorite Oakland Raider draft moment when they drafted a safety out of Ohio. I believe his name was Michael Thomas in the second round. And Mel Kiper didn't even have any video of him. He's like, I didn't even have him being drafted here. They drafted purely on speed. So
howdy works. Yeah. Is he dead? He's probably dead.
His name was Michael Thomas?
I think so.
2000 looks to be a pretty strong draft. No, Brian Urlacher. Brian Urlacher, maybe he's the only Hall of Famer in the draft, but a top 15, 20 looks to be a solid. More good guys than bad guys, if not spectacular guys.
Brian Urlacher, linebacker, New Mexico.
I got to say, I think my favorite Raiders moment was when Jamarcus Russell declared for the NFL draft and you looked and saw the Raiders had the first pick. And before anything else, everyone was just like, well, we know Al Davis is going to take the guy who can throw it the farthest. And that ended up happening.
And it worked out everybody the way it thought it did work. Oh, yeah, quick NHL thing. What, is today the last day of the season?
Yeah, there's one game only, and it's Florida and Boston. If Boston wins, they win the Atlantic or whatever. Yeah, the Atlantic, which would mean they would be, they'd have to play the Devils in the first round. So they can't even decide who's like the Eastern Conference playoffs yet. The West has all been decided. It'll be the Predators against the Avalanche and the Wild against.
Predators going to beat the hell out of them. Sweep.
Yep.
Sweep.
I'll give the Avalanche.
No, I ain't giving them shit.
The Wild and the Jets. I will say the Jets win in no more than 6 games.
It'd be a good series. It'd be a good series. I think Sack will be good.
The Jets. There's an NHL team called the Jets.
Yeah. When they're up in Winnipeg, and when they and San Jose play, it's a fucking musical.
Sharks and Jets. I get it. It took me a second there, Stack, and I get it though. Nice.
I think it's going 7, Stack. I think it's going 7. Mike Yo's going to get him ready. Mike Yo's going to do it, Stacking.
Off the show.
Mike Yo isn't even coaching in the playoffs this year because his Blues lost to the Avs last night. So
first team out. Boo to that.
Yep.
Is the Las Vegas team still good?
Oh,
Vegas, yeah. Vegas is taking on the Kings. They are the Kings are the top wild card, and it'll
go 7. I like it to go 7.
Yep. And I think the Knights will win that one. And then the Ducks and the Sharks are playing. The Ducks have been pretty red hot as of late.
Golden Knights.
I like the Ducks and the Golden Knights to play one another in the semifinals.
I like San Jose. San Jose in 7.
Okay. Well, you do like San Jose, so but your team, I think you're going to take the Knights against the Penguins, aren't you?
Picked it in the preseason. No changing now.
That might be one of the most incredible predictions I think we've ever had here on the.
Not a prediction. It's what's going to happen.
No, but I'm talking about the preseason.
I know. That's why I said. That's why I said it.
And for it to be right,
The Giants won the World Series last year. That's why I said it. The Giants are winning the World Series. They finished last. So Vegas would play Anaheim San Jose winner.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay, so right, lots of California shit there. Nashville would play Minnesota Winnipeg.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So we're liking what Nashville and Vegas. That's all types of fun. All types of fun.
A lot of yellow and gold.
Keep it up.
A lot of yellow and gold.
I will probably take. I'll take Nashville versus Boston in the Stanley Cup final.
A lot of gold
So
there
Boston,
too.
but Boston should win today. You would assume.
Yeah, Florida doesn't have anything to play for.
First team out, shucks to be them.
Yep, I would. So I'll say Boston wins this one.
And Boston has to win here because
Boston has to win the division. They have to get both points here. Tampa Bay has the tiebreaker over them, from what I've seen. Because if they were to get 1 point,
place? Why the hell isn't it
6:30 tonight?
Jesus,
like I said,
dumb.
I can't even get the Nathan Stacken playoff proposals in the blog until late tonight because I have to wait for this stupid shit to happen.
They didn't want to compete with the Masters, I guess.
Oh,
or WrestleMania, or maybe they did.
WrestleMania.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So Boston and Tampa are going to play in the second round.
Yep.
And then you're going to have, of course, Columbus is going to beat Washington because it's Washington.
Yep.
We've got Columbus and Pittsburgh. We've got Pittsburgh and you like Boston.
Yeah, I think it's tough to go against Pittsburgh and their playoff pedigree, but they just don't seem like they have the team this year that they're not nearly as good this year as they were last year. So I'll take Boston, playing really well. Yeah, so give me Boston.
Is Columbus or Colorado the worst team in this deal?
I would say the Devils are the worst team in the deal.
No respect for Taylor Hall. My goodness.
I mean, it's a fight between New Jersey and Colorado.
Colorado's got Nathan McKinnon, so it ain't Colorado.
Right. So that's why
it sounds like late 90s, early 2000s NHL Finals to me. Colorado, New Jersey. Well, let's go.
Is hot trash. You got him there.
You know what? Those were my two favorite teams back in the day after Minnesota didn't have an NHL team.
Give me a ridiculous final here. How about Toronto and the Ducks?
Toronto and Vegas.
Are the Canadians in the playoff?
No, they are not. You know what?
Because I would say that even though Vegas is the number one seed
in their
division, it will still be a surprise if they make, I would say, even the Western Conference Finals.
I want Vegas to Tampa is an extremely long trip. I like that.
No,
Vegas
to anywhere. Good series.
Vegas to anywhere is a long series.
LA to Boston is an extremely long series, which you could have. I would say Vegas or Winnipeg coming out of the West. I know Winnipeg's the second best team in the Central, but there's still something about them that just I don't have a ton of confidence in yet that I have them beating the Wild. So give me a Winnipeg, New Jersey Devil Stanley Cup final. I think that would be
let's do it.
I'd watch that.
You and 7 other
now
people.
that you said it, I want Tampa Vegas. That would be hilarious.
Wednesday it starts?
Yeah,
Tampa,
Wednesday.
Vegas, I think, are the two cities with the most amount of strip clubs in the United States. So.
You gotta respect it.
Why doesn't Miami have the most
layover in Atlanta?
Well, I heard. Okay, let me phrase it this way, Stacken. I heard somewhere that Tampa Bay is number 1. I don't know. I'm assuming Las Vegas is number 2, but it might not be.
Okay. All right.
But you can at least understand the assumption of assuming that would be number 2 if it's not number 1.
Right. On a somber note, that not good. What happened?
What happened? Big bus crash.
Big bus crash. Yeah, they crashed into a transport truck. I think is what they
is a semi. It sounds like so.
So it, but 15 people dead. It's in Humboldt, Saskatchewan, and it's rocked the hockey community, I guess, pretty hard. Barry Melrose is from Saskatchewan, so he's taking it pretty rough. I was watching a little bit of the Frozen Four last night. Good job, UMD. Minnesota Duluth, national champions, so that's excellent there.
You want to talk about a stupid tournament? I think, like, in the last 5 years, the last team to get into the tournament has won it 3 times. So there you go. With regards to the bus crash, certainly sad. The fact that there's 29 people on a bus and half of them die is pretty tragic, pretty sobering. I looked at Humboldt, Saskatchewan last night, 6,000 people. It looks like, honestly, like a Miller, South Dakota. It's just not, I mean, probably just a few more people. I mean, it's like a lot of towns in this state. It's like probably a better version of Huron. Huron with less people. It's way the hell up there if you look at it on a map. And, just a very, very tough thing to think about. I think about a lot of times how many miles you have in South Dakota where, kids are spending a long time on a bus or going somewhere. I mean, Mitchell's in a conference where a 2-3 hour bus trip is not out of the question. And to be honest, we're fortunate that this doesn't happen more often where there's a serious incident like this. So pretty tough time for the folks in Saskatchewan and the folks who, follow hockey, because it is like people say, somewhat of a close-knit community.
Yep. They really support their team. Apparently there was a tragedy there 30 years ago.
What a semi.
Not the same team. Yeah.
No, but like was it? I thought it was in Saskatchewan.
It was.
Yeah.
And 4 people died. Yeah. And then this is the bus got hit by a semi. So I imagine somebody missed a stop sign or the weather was bad and somebody blew through the intersection or something. So that's too bad.
No. Yeah, it's sad. I was actually fairly impressed that SportsCenter did as much on the crash as they did for 2 straight days. So, we know them and their hockey coverage is not very great. So, obviously, this is a little different circumstance, but I thought they provided the right tone and the right touch given the circumstances.
One final wrap up. USD basketball has a new coach.
Yep.
His name is Todd Lee.
Very short.
A relatively short individual.
He's short, is he?
That's what the guy who covers USD for us said after he went to the press conference.
He's very tan.
He's from Huron. Yeah, very tan. He's mid-50s.
Apparently his mom is a South Dakota State graduate also.
Whoa. Nancy Niebuhr is his mom.
What?
No,
I don't know who his mom is. That's what our guy said, that his mother graduated from South Dakota State.
So he comes from Grand Canyon, the Dan Marley coaching tree, of course. It sounds like Todd Lee was running the joint down in the Grand Canyon. Expectations for this gentleman, because it appears he's losing his best player to some other team.
Is that? I mean, I saw the tweet that there were 7, 8 schools after Matt Mooney's services.
Can you imagine him visiting some of these schools, going back to USD? I just can't. I can't figure that's going to happen.
I didn't think so either. But I mean, nothing's.
He left it out there. He left it out there that he might come back, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Like, my problem was, like, does any of this get out if he doesn't tweet that? He's visiting, or these schools are visiting him, or whatever he's doing. It's like yesterday, today, tomorrow. Like, this weekend he's probably going to decide here fairly soon. And an odd hell of a time to do it, because goddamn, it's April 8th and there's still a month of college left. Like, he, I don't know, assume is he?
I would assume he'll finish out whatever college it is
and then go wherever. But like, goddamn.
Well, I think there was a lot of scuttlebutt excuse me, online that he was thinking
frozen.
He is frozen in time.
So I'm assuming what he was saying.
Sort of.
Okay, start over. There was rumors online he was going to do this.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, there were rumors online he was thinking about this.
Yeah, and I think you just sort of cut down on some of that when you just tweet out and say, "Yep, this is what I'm thinking about." And so in that way, it was a very 2018 way of doing it. I mean, just sort of put out there that this is happening. So
I think too, it's also like USD fans, of course, are going to be upset. Like, oh, he's leaving and stuff. But it's a new coaching staff. Your coach left, so let the players have their chance. He's a really good player too, so I don't think they can fault him necessarily for leaving. But I would say that if he does leave, plus whoever else might decide to transfer out, that this is in effect pretty much a slam dunk case for South Dakota State next year. And anything can happen, but I would say they would be by far the prohibitive favorites to win the conference, unlike Joe Lunardi, who has USD right now as a 13 seed.
I think he probably confused the two South Dakotas. I'm being completely honest.
It's very hard to do. It's very hard to confuse the two because, as we know, one is South Dakota and one is South Dakota State. One is in Vermilion, which is a different town than Brookings. One is red and white, which are two completely different colors than yellow and blue. It's very difficult because these schools are so goddamn similar. It's so very tough for these experts to confuse what the fuck is South Dakota State and what the fuck is USD.
Like the guy on Twitter.
We've gotten past. I think we've gotten past San Diego State. I think we finally shut the door on San Diego State.
Yep.
Now it's South Dakota and South Dakota. So this is still very difficult. It doesn't happen anywhere else, as we know, and we've talked about a million fucking times. It's very difficult and very fucking frustrating.
Although, to be fair, I don't remember where it was. I saw it somewhere on Twitter. It was not like SportsCenter or ESPN, but someplace had a graphic of the four teams in the Final Four, and it said Michigan, but it had the Michigan State logo.
Jesus Christ.
So it does happen to other schools. I don't think nearly as often.
Yeah.
No, that's the whole point. I mean, it happens, various times, with graphics and whatnot, but not on a consistent basis.
Salt Lake City newspaper last year, in the front fucking page of the paper, before they changed it, had Matt Mooney's goddamn picture on it against Gonzaga. What the fuck are you doing? I mean, for Christ's fucking sake. Go to a Summit League website. Go to a goddamn college website and to see what the fuck South Dakota State looks like and to see what the fuck USD looks like. Conor McGregor saying, this is my Conor McGregor. Goddamn, this isn't fucking 1952 where we don't know what the fuck anything looks like. Jesus Christ. Fucking idiots. Fucking idiots.
Last Larry Melrose, I think at least a couple times referred to Notre Dame as North Dakota, and also you had before like
they referred to Duluth as
for Minnesota Duluth. So
that's that. Todd Lee's there. He's going to coach him up, huh? Yeah, we got some trouble on that end.
Minnesota. You didn't call them Duluth.
Something Minnesota.
What?
You're it's a struggle. So Todd, yes.
Well, this is not
USD note. Okay. Like Stacken said, I think it's safe to assume that, the Jackrabbits obviously are going to be heavy favorites on the men's side. Going forward after next year, who knows? We'll see. But everyone other than South Dakota and South Dakota State had a losing record last year in the Summer League. I wouldn't think next year that South Dakota State will be the only team with a winning record overall, maybe. But I mean, somebody,
not good,
even if they're not really good, is going to have to win more games just by proxy of the other teams being worse than they are. And I don't know who that's going to – I mean, maybe it'll be USD anyway still. I don't know.
Oh, boy. I'm thinking, Fort Wayne, we could always throw them in the mix.
Well, Conchar's out. They lost a couple of guys there.
Right.
They might not even be in the league next year.
Oh yeah, they're probably not. Yeah, we're still waiting for Fort Wayne to make up.
UND.
Yeah, UND had a bad year after getting to the tournament, so we'll see what they're all about. Yeah, this looks like from 2 on down looks to be maybe the worst the Summit League's ever been in the last 10 years that we've been following them. Like those.
Now, is this working better?
Yep, a little bit.
Yeah.
I would like to allude.
Yeah.
I would like to allude to something I heard on the top sports station in South Dakota, KWSN, the other day. I can't remember who made the point, but it was if you're 2 really good years and you didn't get it done, and now you or else, why would you want to compete against Dom for another season?
No.
If you want, just makes sense for him to leave. I don't know. If you're a USD person, you're mad about it. That's stupid.
It's more likely Mooney would have came back if Craig Smith stays, even though he still maybe.
But the other thing that USD that Craig Smith was ready to leave because he was ready to leave last year. So
yeah, so it's interesting.
Why wouldn't he leave? Utah State's a better job and they pay dramatically more money.
Like I saw a poll from that same station you mentioned, and I think it was 97% said yes, Craig Smith should leave, or it was a good call. So if your poll is 97% for one answer, that is what I call a terrible poll as a waste of time. This is not a poll. What do you think? What do you think? Woods or Jack Nicklaus? What do you think? I don't think so. So Todd Lee's the coach, and Matt Mooney, TCU. I'm going to say TCU is the spot where he goes.
Also, you would think, like, from Mooney's perspective, obviously leaving because he's going to have a new coach either way. You might as well go somewhere where you're more likely to win more games. But potentially, he could go somewhere where instead of being, the top option that you're guarded all the time, he could go somewhere and be, the third best player and still do stuff and, just not have the defense keying in on him. And I would imagine as a guy who likes to score, that would probably – certainly not being the top guy might have some problems, but you would at least be like, hey, this is nice that I'm not getting double-teamed and I've got more room to work with and stuff like that.
Virginia, I guess, is a team that has been mentioned. There's one.
Would he be the best offensive scorer ever at Virginia in the last 8 years?
Since Ralph Sampson.
Since Thomas Jones. There's one school stacking.
Jordan's coming, folks. 5 under on the front 9.
Spieth.
He's within a shot. Spieth coming. Patrick Reed did a great shot.
Spieth within a shot. Well, no, he's not within a shot. What is he within?
No, he's within 3 of the lead.
Okay, now we're talking. You get Spieth in the mix, now we're fucking talking. You make it a 3-way deal. Now we get going here.
Prince likes 3 ways.
We like it. 1, 2, 3 it up. There's one school stack, and I think would be great. He would never consider this. Is probably the school that would be last on his list because he's an idiot. I think it'd be awesome if he went to this one school.
South Dakota State?
That'd be great, wouldn't it? That'd be great. You have the 2 best players in the conference on one team. They'd kill them. They'd kill them.
That would. They would be
hilarious.
Well, throw in Jenkins, you'd have the 3 best players.
Holy hell!
That's right.
That's a Sweet 16 team right there.
Chris Howell, very disappointing. Why is Chris Howell? Apparently it was a foot thing, which is why he didn't play a lot. I still maintain me and Eamon agree that he's a very good player.
I think he got sandbagged.
Well, it's disappointing because it's not a deep team, and if he's healthy next year, he can contribute. So that sucks for him.
Mm-hmm.
Should be at stacking. We got WrestleMania coming up in a couple hours. What are you thinking? It's going to be a big one.
I anticipate that somehow Conor McGregor is going to make an appearance. Wow. And he was a dolly. And Well, doesn't matter. He'll figure out a way to get that dolly onto the mat. So,
is it WrestleMania where they have the Money in the Bank match?
Not this year. Not this year. There was a hell of a ladder match last night. It was great. No ladder matches this year.
Stacken's prediction is that Roman is going to reign supreme.
Ooh, looking forward to the blog tomorrow. Looking forward to the blog.
Oh yeah,
could be a good one. And with that, we'll put it in the books. 2:47. Stacken was here. Nathan was here. Stacken was also here. And
I'd like to apologize to anyone I offended with my comments from earlier. Any one of.
Boo!
Anyone
apologize for anything.
I just said any. I was just going to say any one of the 700 things I may have said in the last couple of hours.
If I offended you,
never
suck it. You gotta suck it if I offended you. Is what you said.
All right. Well, Charlie clearly had an issue with the secretary, so I.
Well, that was.
But if we're being honest, you're right. So, all right, we'll see you.
Stacken, you're just an easy target, and you're also a good sport about it. That's why I did it.
I know it is.
He's the Patrick Reed of the Sports Lounge. We'll see you next week.